Hi, my name's Jeff. I'm from the Ozark Mountains, that's in Missouri, in the USA. Well, this video is about working on a 2011 Mini Countryman, and it's not the type of video I normally do. I usually do videos about working on old computers like this thing over here, but I needed to fix this Mini I recently purchased, and I thought, well, why not shoot a video and kind of show this odd problem that it had, which turned out to be not so bad. So, being the first video I shot outside, the lighting's not good, the sound's worse, but hopefully the content is okay and you'll get something out of it. When you get to the end, if you have questions or comments, well, just leave them in that comment section down there below. I would love to hear from you. The first thing we're going to do when the video gets started here is do some preparatory work by pulling out the right-hand side headlight so we can get to the belt tensioner release later on. Yeah, you got to take the headlight out to do that, but I might have another idea for that later. So if that works out, I'll make another short video. Let's jump in and have a look at the car now. Before getting too far into the weeds, maybe we should look at what the problem actually is. Here we're looking inside that right-hand wheel well, and you see your crank pulley here, the idler wheel which drives the water pump, and the water pump pulley is kind of hidden up behind the frame rail there. And here's what the engine sounds like. Yes, that really sounds bad. Now to remove that headlight. So we want to mark the pencil around where the headlight is mounted to make it easier to line up. Squeeze the tabs on the top and bottom of the headlight connector and then pull that guy out. There are 4 10mm bolts you need to take out to free the headlight. Let's just zip those guys right out of there. These bolts are all different lengths, so after I removed the headlight, I put the bolts right back in the same holes they came out of. That way they were there waiting on me when I needed to put it back together. Then without the car jacked up, we want to loosen up all the lug bolts. These are 17mm, by the way. You may have a special adapter like this for one of your lug nuts. Now with these loose, I'll go ahead and jack this up. And you'll want to use a jack stand here. Don't just rely on the jack. Now we can take those lug bolts the rest of the way out. If it's been a while since you've had the wheel off, you may need to bop it a little on each side. Or maybe kick it. I guess I got my workout for the day. There are lots of little plastic fasteners and a few screws holding these plastic flaps in place. So I removed those and tied this back out of the way on both sides with a few little pieces of rope. You don't have a lot of room to work in there, but there's just enough. Then we'll want to go ahead and break loose the 3 bolts on the water pump pulley before we loosen the belt. That'll make it a lot easier. The racket this engine is making sounds a whole lot like a rod knocking. I know a bit of the history on this particular car, and it's been driven about 6 months in this condition, so I'm fairly certain at this point that it's not a rod knock. When I press the screwdriver up against the idler pulley, I can hear a slight change in the tone, and I can feel the vibration coming back through the screwdriver. That's further evidence that it's not a rod knocking. I found it was easier to lay down and get my 10mm wrench up in here. Apologize, the lighting's not very good. And that pulley does have a tendency to want to move a little bit, so be patient and you can get them all loose. And the next thing we want to do is pull this zip cord right here that releases the pressure on this pulley, which connects the water pump to the back of the crank pulley, which has the belt on it. The idea is you grab hold of this and pull it out, which is kind of hard to do with the camera in my hand, but I will do that and then show you what it looks like. So right here you can see that that tab is pulled out, and you pull it out and kind of lift it up and it'll latch out like that, and it pulls the idler pulley down so there's less contact there. Now we can worry about getting the belt off. So I have the floor jack under the oil pan now with a block of wood to protect the oil pan, and the car is also resting on the jack stand. Now with just a bit of pressure on the oil pan, we are going to loosen up this 18mm nut here. Maybe. There we go. We'll use the old one wrench connected to the other trick to get a bit more leverage here. There we go. And we want to jack the engine up till this bracket is just below this plastic tube here. Take your time here so as not to crush that black plastic tube. And that'll give us clearance to this 30mm hex head right here, which lets us release the tension from the pulley. This is our socket. You want to rotate this clockwise when viewed from the front, around enough that you can push this pin in the little hole that's in here, and that holds it in the position where there's no tension on the belt anymore. Now we'll try to wrangle the belt out of there. You've got to kind of pull that idler pulley out of the way with one hand by grabbing hold of the belt with the other. And there we go. One very worn out belt. Now we need to get this pulley up here the rest of the way off, which means standing on my head under the car. I was trying to show the condition of the pulley and the belt outside, but the lighting was terrible and that didn't come through. But it gives us an opportunity to look at these here on the bench and get a better idea of the arrangement under the hood. So here we have our belt. This is our crank pulley, this is the air conditioner pump, and this is the alternator. And this is that little idler wheel device, which runs up like this. And of course, here is the water pump pulley, which we just took out. And if we look at the surface of the pulley here, instead of being nice and smooth, it is cracked, it is wavy, and it is uneven. And it's got a lot of like little cups in here. All these areas are little cupped areas, so it's no wonder this is vibrating like crazy. And our belt is in really sad shape. There are big chunks out of it. It's all cracked. This was not long for the world, so it's a good thing that we changed it. The hardest part of reassembly is trying to get the 3 bolts on the water pump pulley tight. You can jam a screwdriver between the idler and the water pump pulley, or what I did is I put a big wrench back behind the pulley and pulled forward to put some pressure on it. Well, the belt is finally threaded on there. There's not a whole lot of room. I found it easier to go up over the alternator, forward over the air conditioner pump, and then over the crank pulley. Okay, well, it looks like it's on there correctly. Well, did that do the trick? Let's have a listen before and after the repair. First, here's before. And after. What a relief. It sounds just like it should. Well, how about that? We did get it fixed for just a pulley and a belt, about $60 worth of parts. That was a good deal. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, just let me know in that comment section down there below, and maybe I'll make another video like this sometime. Well, until next time,